Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. Coming to you live here from Dice Tower Con 2018, bringing you all the board game coverage all weekend long. But first up, who are we? I'm Matt with Twist Gaming, and I'm joined here with the one, the only, the Julie from Greenbrier Games.
Hi, how's it going?
Julie, I know this is your first time on stream. Thank you for coming.
Ever. Like, I've acted, this is the first time I've been live on anything. This is my first time behind camera.
I hope you are not too camera shy.
I'm actually I might puke.
Oh, okay.
Just
wonderful.
right here. It'll be a show, though, right? Entertainment?
Exactly.
More like a Nickelodeon-esque thing
The
at
slime,
that point?
The slime.
There you go.
So, Julie, I got to ask, how is Dice Tower Con treating you so far?
Well, it's been running me ragged. If you can hear by my voice, I've been doing a lot of talking. I've been doing a lot of demoing. These people made me get on their show and guest host for a long time.
Thank
and
you
it's,
so much for that, Julie. You've been fantastic interviewing people all
I've been
weekend
having
long
the
with
best time. I don't know if you can tell that. But I've been having a great time, and I love seeing other people's games. I love playing games, and it's been really fun getting to see what other people are doing, what else is out there, and which games that after hours I can go and play. Which is part of the reason my voice is like this, because we finish here, and then I go find all those games that were demoed here, and I play them. So
into the wee hours
into
of
the wee, right. Sleep is for the weak.
So, Julie, I see a bunch of cards on the table here. What have you brought to show off today? I'm assuming it's
so
this little box that we're seeing right there.
yes. This is a premiere. It is
early
super early, but I wanted to show it because
you want Twist Gaming to get the first
scoop. Yeah, absolutely. And also because I know that when we do have a more polished version at Gen Con, I want people to know that it's there. So I've got crazy early prototype art for the most part, except for the box, but even the box is clearly prototype, for Mr. Rhee surviving the Nightmare World.
So Mr. Rhee.
Yes.
Is this a new property, or is this something that you're adapting into a board game here?
That would be correct. The latter. So Dirk Manning and a huge army of really super talented artists created 2 comic books series.
Okay.
The first one, which is already done, it would spend 10 years that they did. They released 4 different books with 13 spooky tales in them each. They're all horror tropes, but they're also going on the premise that they're all happening in the same world, even if they're in different times.
Okay.
And they all interconnect. So you could read one story where it's kind of a horror theme, like a zombie comes back to haunt his parents. But then in another story, you see an article on a newspaper in the background that somebody's reading that there's this kid missing, and it's him.
Oh, so you're like real.
So
like,
they're
big
all
right.
It's amazing, and some of them are super important, like certain objects that are. I actually don't have it out right now, but one character in the game has a knife that has been shown from like very early on when demons first came through to roam the land. It's not really that big a spoiler. It seems like par for the course for a horror story. So that there was a knife that was used, but of course the knife is cursed to instill bloodlust, so then you see it periodically show up, and it's a very distinct, like, so there's a lot of wonderful overlapping of you could tell that Dirk had an end game when he even started it, his first short story, and then he did these 4 books of 13 each, so a whole series, 52 stories total.
So what's the name of that series?
That is The Nightmare World.
The Nightmare World.
Right.
Okay.
So at some point, however, he ended that, and he started a linear story called Tales of Mr. Rhee. And Mr. Rhee is, and so this is art from the comic, but we will actually have unique art that has been 95% completed by the same artist who created the comic.
Okay.
So new art, but this is for our prototype. We use some of the images from the comic book series. So this is Mr. Rhee, and he is think of him almost film noir-esque. He's your average dude who's got his own little side business of trying to like stop small-time petty monsters, but he's not a major player. He has he has a little bit of magic ability. He'll fight if he has to, but most of the time he's just a really good punching bag. And
kind of getting like a little bit of a Constantine vibe.
Yeah, a little bit, and then he's not charming at all. He's
the gruff,
he's
grizzled.
Taciturn. He doesn't like to talk to people.
That's
I know
a
that
$5 word
it
right there,
was.
Julie.
He would rather speak in grunts if necessary, but is forced to be a spokesperson for the innocent type of character. So he's the title character of the new series, and that's still ongoing. They have their 4th book coming out. Each book has several chapters in it, but that's it's the 4th one's coming out, and I've been told that that's the end of Act 1 of his story. But there are many other acts to come. So it is an ongoing comic book horror series.
So this is bridging the gap between
the
those
two,
So
because they
mystery.
both happen in the same world, but Nightmare World was kind of just giving you a broad setting short stories in this world of what if all of our nightmares were real.
And then the Mr. Rhee is the microscope down into this one
Absolutely.
microcosm of that.
And so I love indie horror comics. It is my second passion besides board games, and I had the opportunity to mix the two together. And of course, I mean, our company does horror. It's kind of it's our shtick. It's our thing. So this was for me, a bit of a passion project. It's one that's closest to my heart personally. I'm really excited about it. I know I'm being like really chill because it's Sunday and I'm exhausted, but I am super excited for this to come to the table.
I've been hearing you talking about this one in the background for a while now.
Yeah,
and
we've been working on it for a while, and we wanted to get it just right. And then Joshua Sprung, who did co-designed Yashimo with Tony Galati. Joshua and I he designed it, I've developed it. So we've been working on it for over a year now to make sure that we were happy with where it's at. So we're really looking forward for other people to see it, especially at Gen Con.
So, Julie, can you talk a little bit about kind of the challenges and the fun parts as well of taking an established, like, built world and universe and then transitioning it into a playable board game?
Yeah, so the running joke is that we're going to just do a video instead of like, we're going to have a Kickstarter, and the running joke is that the video, instead of being like that snapshot polished thing, is just going to be me, like a serial killer with all the pictures with like the lines going from one character to another, because I spent so much, I liked the comics, but I now know them I know them better than Dirk himself. He'll start talking about a character. I'm like, yeah, that was page 7 of volume 2. And then she transitions and she has a different colored blouse in the next volume. I don't know why you changed it up like that, but whatever, I guess. I guess she liked different clothes.
So it's a pretty good thing that you're so passionate about these indie horror novels.
Right. So the challenge was, but that was it. I wanted it to be just right. I wanted the feel of the mechanics to really reflect the world. And the world is this... you're at the whim of the bad guys. They are allowing humanity to think that they're okay because it benefits them in the long run to not kill them all off outright and manipulate them.
Gotcha.
The story itself, so in Tales of Mystery, there's a pivotal moment, the 3 Days of Darkness, where suddenly all the major players come out and they're like, hey, Cthulhu's real, also Lucifer, it's a great time. And so there's these 3 days where it's just Armageddon. And then it all goes away. And I'm not going to, that's a major plot point, and then what happens afterwards is another major, so I'm not going to say anything else, just go... get the books, read the books if that's what you're interested in. But we are focusing on in this game those 3 days. So, Mr. Rhee and his allies, I wouldn't even necessarily call them friends. He's not a friendly dude, but his allies are the heroes, and they're reluctant heroes. They are not terribly great at it. They're just the ones that are deciding to step up and try to help out.
They're not the heroes we need. They're the heroes we deserve.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
They're the heroes that we got.
Okay.
Short end of the stick. So, and I really wanted that to reflect in the mechanics as well. So you have these big, monolithic bad guys, and then they actually they're more like sending out their minions as pawns.
Okay. And
yes, they are probably in the background doing terrible things as well, but Mr. Rhee or his friend Brian here, again from the comic, not from the final art. Actually, I don't actually think that is. I think that's just a snapshot of somebody else. But anyway, Brian is a demon who's hiding his demon side because he doesn't want to be killed or deported back to hell.
Oh, Brian.
So he's a reluctant bad guy as well. He's helping out, but he would rather just be laying low and hiding until this all blows over. You know, he's got the he'd rather be at the Winchester.
He's
the
looking out
pint.
for himself. Oh, man.
Right.
Shaun of the Dead reference. I love it.
Thank you. Horror, all of it. So they are helping out these innocents who are at different locations.
It's going to green screen a little bit.
It's probably a little bit. So
Ooh,
so you
spooky.
have,
Innocent adult, innocent police. We got the innocent child. I like
Okay.
the gasp.
Right. So they're trying to help. They're just trying to keep them out of the way of the minions that can do them harm.
Oh, evil kitties.
Chupacabra.
Oh, the chupacabra.
Yeah, we do have. So again, we'll have unique art for it, but yes, we have the Chupacabra.
And then we've got minion number 11.
Yes, he looks more. He looks more like a samurai kind of like
Samurai lion.
warrior dude. I'm not sure what he is, but we have vampires, we have zombies, we have
So we're getting
Cthulhuites,
we're
like
getting
the
full
acolytes of
spectrum
Cthulhu.
of
Oh yeah,
horror
it's all right,
monsters.
correct, and the full spectrum of the artists who worked on the project. So it's mass chaos, and it's intended to be. So the object of the game for the hero, the one person playing the hero, it's a one versus many. Did I mention that?
You did not.
Oh, this is a one versus many card game with some additional components. So the object of the game is, if you're the hero, you are mitigating damage.
Okay.
You can never defeat the big bads.
Oh.
You can't.
It's
There's
just
no way to go up against a massive heavy hitter of demon of hell and win.
I mean, that makes sense.
But what you can do is try to keep those innocents out of the way of harm.
Protect the
So
innocents.
that's what the heroes are trying to do. The object for them is to use their skills of, and again, not final art, of fight, charm.
I think the charm's
Yeah,
the thumbs
that's
up.
certainly not the
fantastic.
final art.
Hey.
And magic.
Magic.
And the order that each hero has the ability. So I don't know if you noticed that on Rhee, that he has on his card, he must use magic first. If he fails at magic, he is able to try to fight, and then whatever's remaining, sure, he'll try to be charming. It
But
really
that's
isn't
not
going
his
to work
strong
out.
suit.
Right. Versus Brad there, who doesn't have any magic skills on the flip side of his character, I believe.
Oh.
Nope,
Oh.
he doesn't have it on at all. Never mind. I'm thinking Brad, not Brian. Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's Brian in his demon form, then.
Yeah. Brad is who I'm thinking. Brad Thompson is a demon human, and he has no magic ability. He is magic. He doesn't have magic talent. So
Oh.
he uses charm.
He's the suave demon.
He is. He's more. I actually feel like he looks like almost like a Blues Brother.
Would it be the Dan Aykroyd or the John Belushi?
Like a third one that's like a bridge between the two.
John Goodman
Yeah.
from Blues
Sure.
Brothers 2000.
Sure, we'll go with that. So he looks more like that, like he's just a happy-go-lucky, good guy that you really just instantly smile when he smiles kind of person, until he has to fight, and then he turns into a demon, and then he has to kill any innocents because he can't leave any traces of. So there's some not only are there asymmetrical abilities per character, but there's also a danger of your heroes not being very heroic.
Gotcha.
So all of this being reflective of the comic, but also making it very challenging to keep innocents out of harm's way. And then, of course, for the villains, it's not necessarily about killing the innocents. It's about taking over and controlling the different locations. And if they can control locations, that is one win condition. If they control two locations, they have the higher balance of power against the other villains.
So if you're saying they, are you talking about the game in general, or is there someone controlling the actual villains?
Right. So asymmetrical. So each person would either be controlling all of the heroes in play or one villain. And the villain is sending out minions.
Okay.
So if you are a villain, you are either trying to control 2 locations in the game,
Mm-hmm.
or you have a specific win condition that's particular to your villain.
So
And
each one
again,
has
they're
unique.
reflective of the characters and what their storyline would be. So let's see, who do I have? Vanessa is a recruiter for Cthulhu. So her whole focus is to try to recruit people for Cthulhu. So if she can be in a location with a hero and have control with all the people still there, not killed off because she needs them as acolytes, she wins the game.
Gotcha.
Versus, say, Rainibus, who is the alter. He's actually in the body of a human, so he's not at his full power. The person who he's inhabiting is Dr. Faust.
Jack Faust.
Yeah, and he is he's a collector as well. There are some, for example, Thelma Lushkin, who is the CEO of the corporation run in the shadows by Lucifer. Hers is more of a serial killer, just body count kind of a win condition.
I'm really seeing you with the strings going to each one of the points now. You weren't
Right?
kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time making sure that every mechanic reflects what it was in the game, and then also once we had all of these asymmetrical abilities, that they were all going to be balanced well. The final thing that I would like to point out is that doing every action has a cost on the evil or the good side.
Okay.
For evil, you have to spend greed to do your actions.
So how are we getting our greed to spend it then?
Well, you automatically have a pool of greed that you can spend. However, if you use greed, then it flips.
Oh. Hope.
And then the hero can use hope. So the more you can do as a villain, the more you're giving hope to the heroes to spend to gather muster their abilities to use their will to use magic, charm, what
So
have you.
For each resource that you're spending, you're giving resources to your opponents.
And again,
then.
those are also asymmetrical, so you can't always predict how much hope you're giving.
Oh, so this is a 1 greed that goes to a 2 hope. This is a 2 greed that also goes to a 2 hope.
So you're never sure if you're going to give more hope or an equal amount.
Oh, so you don't know. That's face
You don't know.
down on the. Oh, okay.
So it's a balance for the villains to do as much as they can to defeat other villains. And it's up to the hero to keep them pitted against each other and not focused on them as a hero
Okay.
to last the 6 rounds, which is day, night, day, night, day, night of the 3 days of darkness.
So if it's a 1 versus many, only one person's playing as the heroes then?
Correct.
And the rest are playing as villains. That's an interesting take on things there.
Well, it was a
It's
horror
hard-
comic.
That's true.
When we started talking about it, we had a couple different concepts, but to me, that seemed like the most accurate. That the villains, and again, pretty major in mythology, religion, what have you, major players, people, very prominent characters, are, if they were to form an alliance, it would not be a true partnership, I guess.
Makes sense. They're demons.
They're
Demons,
right. They're
after
not.
all.
They're not nice people.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. So they might work together. For example, so if Thelma is in play and she's trying to rack up a body count, another villain might rescue an innocent and move them to a location not because of altruism or the goodness of their hearts, but to get them out of the way so that Thelma can't kill them, so that they can recruit them for Cthulhu.
Gotcha. So they're doing everything to justify helping themselves, not helping
Correct.
the greater
Correct.
evil.
But it's up to the heroes to keep that going and just last until the 3 days of terror are over, when everything goes quiet again.
That's really cool because a lot of times when you see these asymmetrical games, you typically have the one, overlord, the one evil player, and then everyone else is banding together to stop that onslaught.
Right.
And it's
That
such
is.
a different feel that it's pretty cool.
I didn't want that, and I know when we first started talking, that was a concern from Josh. He's like, those games exist. I was like, no, you're not listening. You're not listening to what I mean. What I mean is we're going to be mean in this game, but we're never going to have the ability to really uh, make it focus on a take that for one specific person to always feel like they're being put upon either.
Gotcha.
So the balancing, and that's why we took our time to make sure that it was balanced properly and that we could make sure that everybody felt like there was no early knockout, there was no early well, everybody's picking on me, I guess I can't do it, but you still can do a lot of things that mess with other characters in a fun way.
So it's not the player elimination where you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs while everyone else is having fun at the table.
No.
Yeah.
No. Actually, so the gameplay goes, you have locations. Locations have innocents. The hero chooses which villain will go first. From there, it goes clockwise. So a villain will put down their minions. Then a hero will do some countering with their abilities. And it will go villain, hero, until all the villains have taken a turn. Then the villain who was chosen to go first will choose what order the locations resolve. And there's a lot of strategy to that because the heroes are working as a collective, which means their resources are maximized in that first encounter and might be completely depleted by the last encounter. So if you're at a location that you really want to take over and you're the first villain, you can choose that one to resolve last.
Okay.
Ooh, gravity.
So, Julie, I got to ask, what part of this game are you most excited to show off as you start to get into your demo mode?
What part? Oh, God.
Put you on the spot there.
No, I really love the greed hope asymmetrical. Yeah. I really love when people are really because you want to do all the things, but then you're nervous to see what that's going to translate. I also really like the mechanic of the minions. You can play them face up or face down. Face down is certainly less expensive in Greed and then when they flip over, they work together as a group. But if you put one in, you can target a single innocent and take them out, or a hero and get them out of the area, or another villain's minion and recruit them for your own villain.
Oh, so you could steal minion resources.
So I really like that mechanic as well. The face, you pay a little extra, but then your minion can be sidle up to another and be like, "Hey, do you have any dental?" Because we got dental. I'm just saying.
Got good benefits packages here.
Great.
For Cthulhu.
I also just love the fact that because you can read the comics, that if you want the actual backstory of each character in the game is one that you can find in the comic.
That's really cool, and I know that a lot of the Greenbrier games have really nice backstories and just story elements in the game.
I didn't even have to do them this time. It was amazing.
And it's just this time it's just taking it to the next level. Yeah. There's a whole graphic.
If you want to know the tragic tale of this actual police officer in the comics, you go right ahead. Enjoy.
So Julie, we're gonna start seeing Mr. Rhee being demoed at Gen Con, correct?
Yes, we have demos events set up, so there may still be openings. If you're interested, Joshua Sprung, the designer, will be running events in the event hall at the tables. And then, of course, our Kickstarter starts mid-September.
Very cool. And so how can people go and sign up for those demos?
I believe through the Gen Con website. I also believe we posted a while ago, but we'll repost what those are on our Facebook page.
And where can people find your Facebook page?
Greenbrier Games.
So Greenbrier Games will give you all the information you're looking for Mr. Rhee surviving the
www.greenbrier.games.com.
Sounds good. And so we should be expecting to see the final version of the game.
Oh yeah, it's already in a much more complete form. We just I didn't get the most updated with all the final art with me on the plane to get here.
C'est la vie. It happens. All right, and when can we start seeing Mr. Rhee? Where can we find Mr. Rhee when it eventually goes for us to purchase?
Yeah, beyond Kickstarter, it will be in retail. But I'm sure also we'll be doing a spotlight later on around the time of the Kickstarter so that we can actually do a full playthrough of it.
Fantastic. And so, do you have a date lined up for the Kickstarter yet?
So like I said, mid-September to mid-October. We're playing around with it ending on October 13th. Just because it's the 13th, but it's not a Friday. I was kind of bummed about that.
Aw.
So we'll see. It's definitely going to be around that, like the middle of September or whatever that Tuesday is, to the middle of October, and before Essen, because I'll be at Essen and won't be able to answer any lovely questions on the Kickstarter at that time, and I really don't like when I am not able to do that for my Kickstarter backers.
So, Julie, is there anything else at Greenbrier that's coming through the pipelines that maybe you wanted to talk about
I
while I
did.
got you
I just
here?
wanted to point out really quickly that also at Gen Con we'll have just released into retail Barbarian Battlegrounds, which we did do a spotlight on.
We did. And this game is a
So
lot
please
of
go
fun.
back and watch it. We played it twice, and then of course since then we've all played it just off
Multiple
camera.
times.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I stress a lot when we talk about games that we play is that typically at Twist Gaming here, we don't have a lot of time to play games off camera. So if you see us play games, that's typically the only games that we get to play. Barbarians is one of the few games. Barbarian Battlegrounds is one of the few games that we've played a handful of times off
Yeah.
camera, just because it's quick, but it's a lot of fun too.
Yep. And also because
Bear
Josh
puns.
likes beating me at it.
Bear puns.
Bear puns and bear puns.
Yeah, bear puns.
All the bear puns. So that will be released. That will be in retail July 25th, which means it will be available at Gen Con for sale, and also we're doing demos of that as well. And finally, I don't have it because the box is massive and doesn't fit in my suitcase. Folklore the Affliction will also be doing quite a few events and will be available. First edition will be available at our booth at Gen Con.
And Folklore we showed off at PAX Unplugged this past year as well.
Correct.
So, definitely a very broad stroke variety of games here between Barbarian Battlegrounds, Mystery, and then Folklore there.
Yeah, but at the same time, our theme is that we like to have a little bit of horror, but also a little bit of hope. Cute but stabby is is what we're going for.
And, the bear puns.
And bear puns. Apparently, bear puns are our new business model. Who knew?
Exactly.
Who knew?
I think it's a solid business model, personally. Julie, thank you so much for coming by. We really do appreciate it.
Oh yes,
And I'm
my
sure that
pleasure.
you'll still be around after this, right?
Maybe you'll have to just wait and see. There might be a costume change.
And thank all of you for watching at home. Stay tuned for the remaining coverage from Dice Tower Con 2018 from Twist Gaming. Signing off for now, though, I'm Matt.
I'm Julie.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye, guys.